A very good evening. A very good evening to all of you. This is CMA Dr. Aditi Dasgupta, your host for today's program. Ensuring a sustainable economy through SMEs is a vital as they are the backbone of economic growth and innovation, driving significant portions of GDP and employment. Moreover, ensuring their growth and sustainability is crucial for creating a balanced and inclusive economy that can withstand global economic fluctuations. In essence, fostering a thriving SME sector is fundamental for long-term economic growth, social equity, and environmental sustainability. ICMA understands this, and hence today, on 14 June 2024, the Sustainability Standards Board, under its Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam series, has organized a webinar on the pertinent topic, ensuring sustainable economy through SMEs. We are fortunate and pleased to have with us Sri Suresh Vishwanathan, Director Fintech Law Business Integrators Private Limited, as our dignified speaker for today. But before that, we would start the program with our Institute anthem. With immense pleasure and pride, let me introduce our dignified speaker for the theme today. Sri Suresh Vishwanathan is a fellow member of the Institute of Company Secretaries of India and a certified associate of the Indian Institute of Banking and Finance. With an experience spanning nearly 4 decades in the BFSI sector, he is considered an expert in GRC and installation of policies, systems, and processes thereof. He was also an investment banker for 15 years and has handled 100 odd IPOs in various capacities, including that of a lead manager. Sir has authored 2 books and articles and have published in leading professional magazines and business dailies, including Chartered Secretary, Economic Times, and Hindu Business Line. He has promoted a startup economy fintech law Business Integrators Private Limited that owns SMEdeals.com, a portal for business acquisitions. The portal also facilitates acquisition of intellectual properties, unlisted securities, and franchise. Sri Vishwanathan is also the founder, director, and chief consultant of Integral Knowledge Solutions Private Limited, a consulting company engaged mainly in advisory and automation of GRC processes and systems, administration of corporate laws, and investment banking. Sir is also a designated partner of SVVS and Associates Company Secretaries LLP, having branches in Mumbai, Chennai, Delhi, and Hyderabad, and engaged in secretarial and compliance audit, mergers and acquisitions, and appearance before ACT and NCLT. Before becoming an entrepreneur and a GRC advisor in 2013, he has held senior positions in various large corporate business groups spread over several market intermediaries in the BFSI sector, including merchant banking, new generation banking, non-banking lending, asset reconstruction, mutual fund portfolio management, stock broking, and insurance broking. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sri Suresh Vishwanathan. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Aditi. It was very kind of the Institute of Cost and Management Accountants of India, ICMI, and Dr. Ranjit Krishnan and all the other office bearers to have given me an opportunity to share the thoughts on sustainability, and especially with specific reference to SMEs. So, can I start the presentation?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Kindly share it.
Yeah, Is it visible now?
Yes, sir, visible.
Yeah, just to give you a brief about sustainability, the whole concept and how it impacts the our daily lives. Let us first go into the components of sustainability. According to our Prime Minister, our beloved Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, net zero target can be reached faster because our vision is pro-planet progress, our vision is pro-planet prosperity, and our vision is pro-planet people. We'll go into the details of this. Actually, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, it is the group which has been formed here by ICMI for this is rightly named as Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The whole concept is that it emanates out of a Rigveda stanza which says, Ayam Bandhurayam Nedi Ganana Lakuchetasam Udara Charitanam to Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. This is actually from Mahopanishad, which says that people with a smaller mind, narrow mind, think of themselves and their families. People with a larger mind think of Vasudha Eva Kutumbakam, that is the whole universe is their home. So this is the whole concept under which the sustainability has been propagated in India and elsewhere also. Now sustainability can be divided into three pillars. One is environment, the other is governance, and the third one is socio-economic. If you look at environment, preservation of nature, preservation of natural resources, adoption of eco-friendly processes and systems. If you look at socio-economic factors, serving social needs, economic sustenance, contributions to local and global economy, and governance is basically GRC, which we fondly call as governance, risk and compliance. It is basically protecting stakeholders' interest, regulatory and legal and statutory compliance, and also risk management. Now the whole combined, all the three pillars combined together, three aspects being combined together, this is called sustainability. Now let us come to preservation of nature. Preservation of nature and sustainability trends encompass a wide range of initiatives and practices aimed at conserving natural resources, protecting ecosystems, mitigating environmental impacts, and promoting ecological balance. Here are some of the key trends and approaches in the preservation of nature and sustainability. The main key factors are biodiversity conservation, regenerative agriculture, renewable energy, green building and infrastructure, water conservation, and digital technologies. Protecting and restoring ecosystems and habitats come under biodiversity, and promoting soil health, water conservation, and all are regenerative agriculture, and promoting solar energy, wind energy, and hydro projects come under renewable energy. And green building infrastructure aim to minimize environmental footprint of buildings and infrastructure projects. And water conservation, of course, is including rainwater harvesting, water recycling systems, and drought resistant landscaping. Digital technologies, of course, include Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, blockchain, and data analytics in sustainability implementation. Now, protecting stakeholders' interest by integrating stakeholders' interests and their perspectives into sustainability planning and implementation, organizations can foster stronger relationships, enhance reputation, and mitigate risks and drive positive social and environmental impacts for sustainable future. These the stakeholders' interests comprise of materiality assessment, stakeholder inclusivity, ethical practices, long-term value creation, collaboration and partnership, and accountability and reporting. Accountability and reporting basically is an internal control mechanism. Materiality assessment is identifying and prioritizing and focusing on the most relevant and significant sustainability issues. Stakeholder inclusivity include the perspectives of all stakeholders like employees, customers, investors, government agencies, and suppliers. Uphold ethical standards in business and supply chain management, because the entire supply chain going forward will become sustainability compliant. Now, actually, the first 1,000 listed companies have been brought under this concept, and going forward, maybe by the end of this generation, the entire industry will become sustainability compliant. Long-term value creation emphasizes on creation of value in terms of long-term value over short-term gains, align corporate interests with the value for society and environment, and collaboration and partnership with all relevant stakeholders to exchange experience and develop sustainable business models. Accountability and reporting, install transparent accountability mechanisms for monitoring and reporting on sustainability performance. Serving social needs is another core area of sustainability. By integrating social needs into sustainability strategies and practices, organizations can contribute to building more resilient, inclusive, and thriving communities while achieving environmental sustainability and economic prosperity. The areas that comprise of social needs are alleviation of poverty, health and well-being, cultural preservation, social impact assessment, disaster response, and advocacy and policy influence. These are the areas. Advocacy and policy influence, for that matter, help implementing policies, regulations, and frameworks that advance social sustainability goals. Disaster response, develop contingency plans, response mechanism, and recovery strategies to ensure safety and well-being of affected populations. Social impact assessment, conduct thorough social impact assessments to evaluate the potential effects of sustainability projects on communities. Poverty alleviation promotes fair wages, good working conditions, and business practices. Health and well-being prioritize public health by addressing pollution, healthcare, social justice, quality education, and skill development. Cultural preservation, preserve cultural heritage, traditional knowledge, indigenous practices, being imbibed into sustainability initiatives to promote cultural resilience. That is also very important to preserve our culture. Now, all these practices come at a cost, and small and medium enterprises will find it difficult to adopt these practices and put them into action. We'll come to that. First, let us understand what is sustainable development. This is a video by UN, United Nations. I'll just play it for you. It hardly takes 2 minutes.
This September, 193 countries will meet at the UN to adopt new global goals. These 17 goals provide a roadmap that will help the world achieve sustainable development. But what exactly is sustainable development, and how does it affect us? Sustainable development is development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. But what does that mean? Everyone understands the need to grow their economies, but not everyone takes into account the negatives that unbalanced economic growth can have on the environment and on people's well-being. It's time to change that by looking at the world in a different way. The Sustainable Development Goals will help us to do that. Sustainable development is about the big picture. It's about improving the lives of everyone, everywhere, and achieving all these things together. But it's also about the details. That means we want economies to grow, companies to thrive, and people to have decent work. We want to create new, innovative technologies, but not by harming the environment. We want everyone to have access to nutritious food regardless of where they live. We want affordable and quality education for everybody, not just a few. We want freedom of speech, but we don't want that to mean violence. But how can we achieve all of this, and where do we even start? Well, the 17 goals will mean member states, alongside civil society stakeholders and major groups, will be working together for the next 15 years, looking at ways we can do business differently so that everyone gains. With these 17 global goals as our guide, we can achieve sustainable development and live in a world where people and planet benefit. But we have to act now. This is the time for global action. To find out how you can get involved and learn more about the goals, go to www.un.org/sustainable development.
So whatever we discussed just now is completely covered in this video, and the impact of ancient culture on ESG is something very important, and we have to have a look at it as how our ancient culture has contributed or has advocated sustainability norms, right? Maybe thousands of years ago. We as Indians, we used to pray with water as a main source of energy. If you look at the specific reference in Rig Veda, you will have hundreds of references to nature, sun, and all the Panchabhutas. Here it is about water. I just want to give you a glimpse of it. Apo hishtha mayo bhuvat tana urje dadhadana mahiranaya chakshase yo vashivata morasa. So it goes on like that. It simply says, oh water, because of your presence, the atmosphere is so refreshing and imparts us with vigor and strength. So that is how the life begins in India, and with a special mention or reverence to water as a source of energy. Now, sun is also worshipped as a god in India, and it says Mitrasya chashani dhata shrabo devasya sanasim satyam chitra shravastamam mitro janan yadagati prajan mitro dhadara prithvi mudadyam mitra krishna nimisha bishashe sapyaya havyam kritavadvidema prasamitra marto vastu prayaswan jista aditya shikshadi pradena nahanyadena jiyate toto nainamho ashnyo tantito nadura. Again, this is also part of Rig Veda. It says the fame of God, sun, the one who is held in high regard by the people, is incredible. Sun encourages people to work by providing rain, food, and the yagas. He bears both the earth and the heavens. He observes the hardworking, meaning the farmer, public with benevolent gaze, to whom we shall offer worthy oblations filled with ghee. So this is how we worship the sun in India. And if you look at Kautilya, he has got several maxims for sustainability. Dharmo rakshati, rakshita means one who protects dharma, dharma will protect him. Yatra naryastu pujyante ramante tatra devata means it is adopted from Dharma Shastra. It is not actually Kautilya's maxim, but it says that where women are honored, gods are pleased. I mean, if you look at the government, they have been promoting Nari Shakti in a big way, and this is actually with specific reference to sustainability. Strategic planning. Neither bhavati gadir dharmas tasman neither niyojayed. A strategy is a path of righteousness. Therefore, strategy must be formulated for business. That's what Kautilya says. Innovation and adoption. Yukti, that is yatra nasti yukti, kriyas tatra nasti vikriyacha, means where there is no tactic, no logic, and no innovation, there is no action. This is what Kautilya says. So we have abundant reference in our Vedas and also a lot of other literature for sustainability. Now, just to tell you about the value addition that cost and management accountants can produce, can contribute to sustainability, is they can get involved in strategic planning, integrating sustainability goals into companies' overall strategy, assessing the risks and opportunities associated with environmental and social factors, cost analysis for sustainable practices, cost analysis and financial feasibility of implementing sustainable practices such as renewable energy usage, waste reduction, and eco-friendly production methods. Life cycle costing, this is a new concept. Evaluate the total cost of ownership of assets and products, considering the environmental impacts over their entire life cycle. This keeps in helping in taking informed decisions about resource allocation and investment in sustainable technologies. Now, value additions by CMAs in analysis and reporting is supply chain analysis, because supply chain is going to be a vital factor which will contribute to sustainability. The entire supply chain mechanism will be sustainability compliant going forward in future, and CMAs can analyze the sustainability performance of suppliers, partners, identifying opportunities for collaboration and improvement throughout the supply chain. Financial reporting, of course, transparent and accurate reporting of sustainability initiatives in financial statements and annual reports. This information is valuable for investors, stakeholders, and regulatory bodies interested in the company's environmental and social impact. Performance measurement and reporting, development of cost. I mean, the cost accountants can contribute in developing cost analysis of key parameters, key performance indicators related to sustainability metrics like carbon footprint, water usage, and waste regeneration. Tracking these KPIs helps in monitoring the company's progress towards sustainability goals, identifying areas for improvement, Then value additions by CMAs in compliance. Now, when we talk of compliance, I would just like to throw, there is a massive connection between compliance and sustainability. If you look at all the planets in this solar system, they are all rotating. Every planet and every star and every particle in the universe is rotating. Now, if there is a difference of 1 second in the whole rotation of, let us say, the Earth or the Sun, the whole universe will go for a toss. And this is what is called in Sanskrit, yam and niyam. Yam is what? It is Yamadev, and Yamadev is nothing but Kal. Kal is nothing but time. So entire compliance is entwined in and around the factor of time. So time is highly critical, and compliances are time bound, is what I would like to say here. Now, compliance with laws, risk analysis, internal controls, sustainability standards, and disclosures are the 5 major areas of contribution to compliance. And cost accountants can play a vital role in ensuring the compliances of the company with environment and social laws, analyzing the risks associated with non-compliance with various sustainability norms and address their risks. And internal control systems can be monitored, maintained and monitored by cost accountants, management accountants. Sustainability standards in observing relevant sustainability standards by independent assessment and certifying agencies. Provide and install transparent reporting mechanisms to the board of directors, to various business stakeholders, and to the regulatory bodies. So these are the critical areas where CMAs can contribute. Now, risk mitigation spectrum. When we talk of risk, how to create of course, the cost accountants may be fully aware of it, but I understand there are a lot of participants here who are not cost accountants. So just for their information, I'm just highlighting the importance of risk mitigation spectrum. A risk has got 3 parameters. One is the severity, the probability, and the detectability. And each parameter can be divided into high, low, and medium. So low is green, medium is yellow, and red is high. So there is a risk associated with every action that we take, or every compliance that is being undertaken. For non-compliance, there is a massive risk. So whichever risk you're going to analyze, you need to, this is a risk spectrum analysis. We need to assess if the risk is acceptable. If the risk is not acceptable, the mitigation measures have to be put in place, and we need to check whether these mitigation measures are acceptable. Now, if it is yes, you document it and close it there. If it is not, if the measures that exist in the company are not adequate to address the various risks which are severe in nature, which are highly probable in nature, or which are detectable in nature, and if you're not happy with it, you have to work out a remediation along with the cost of compliance. So here the role of cost accountants is very critical, because every compliance comes with a cost attached to it. Now, if you're happy with it, you can close it there. If you're not happy, you have to reassess the risk along these lines again, and repeat the remediation system, work upon it and improve that. And then once it is acceptable, you close it. So this is how risk spectrum analysis is being undertaken in every organization. Now, to implement this in SMEs, it is very difficult, because SMEs are small and they may not have the wherewithal to implement a risk spectrum analysis and to implement costly compliance mechanisms. So this is also an area of concern that SMEs needs to address. And as cost accountants, we need to have shared platforms to address these issues, which will reduce the cost of SMEs, cost of compliance for SMEs. Now, importance of sustainability in the SME sector. Why it is important? Because SMEs is one of the main contributors to the economy. About 30% of the GDP comes from recognized SMEs. Why I say recognized is that there is a portal called Udyam portal, where SMEs have to go and register themselves, and they get classified as SMEs. Even if it's not mandatory, even if you're not registered, if you fall within certain specific criteria provided by the MSME Act, you become an SME. Registration of Udyam is not mandatory as of now, but from the registration data, we can understand that there are about 2.1 crore of MSMEs registered in under Udyam. Now 30% of the GDP is contributed by these SMEs, which means it should be definitely higher than 30% because there are a lot of MSMEs that are not registered in Udyam and their contributions also cater to the progress of the economy. 14 crore, that is actually 10% of the whole population of India, is being employed by the MSME sector, and 44% of the share of exports are coming from MSME. So this is the whole contribution of MSME to the Indian economy. Now there are 3 states in India, Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra and Uttar Pradesh, which have a very high population of SMEs. 17% in Maharashtra, 10% in Tamil Nadu and 9% in Uttar Pradesh. Uttar Pradesh is also catching up very fast, and the other states are moderate, like 7% and 5%, and all other states also contribute to the growth of SME. MSME sector in global economies, if you look at global economies which are against which our economy is competing, Brazil has got 30% contribution from MSMEs. China, if you look at China, they have got 60% contribution from SMEs. Russia 22%, South Africa 40%, and Germany 48%, Japan 50%, and Singapore 44%. US is also 44%. So this is approximately, every economy pays a lot of importance to SMEs, and SMEs contribute in a big way to the economy. Now, when you talk of sustainability for SMEs, the adoption of sustainable practices by SMEs, it has got huge impact because 1/3 of your economy is dependent on the MSMEs. So the government and the society collectively have to formulate measures which are feasible for SMEs, which can be practically implemented by the SMEs and can be adopted and propagated. Needs to be streamlined. The SMEs have to be advised. There should be a huge action plan to make SMEs understand the importance of sustainability in the global economy, in Indian economy, and for our future generations. Now, why sustainability is important to MSMEs is because being less organized and with leaner resources than large companies, MSMEs may not be able to adapt technology and market changes. Ideal green business models will be difficult for them to adopt. Develop innovative strategies, it will be difficult. Adhere to strict emission and pollution control norms, it will also be difficult. Implement sustainability compliant supply chain systems will again be, and it's very difficult to monitor the sourcing and the supply chain mechanisms of SMEs. To adopt ESG compliance practices that are expensive. Use energy efficient methods in manufacturing. Also, this is also these are some of the areas where SMEs find it difficult to adopt the strategies. Now, I'll just want you to be aware of 3 major industrialists who have adopted the concept of breaking the barrier. Why I'm telling is that SMEs needs to adopt this approach if they want to be sustainable in future. Breaking the barrier, because SMEs always come in a chicken and egg situation. They are not financed well, they don't have enough capital, and it is all highly entrepreneur driven and family driven. So these are the handicaps that put a fetter on adopting ESG practices. So if you want to break the barrier, these are some of the examples, not from a sustainability perspective, but generally from a management perspective. HDFC, if you know you all may know, HDFC Bank is one of the largest banks in India, and Mr. Hasmukh Thakurdas Parekh was born on 10th March 1911 in a banking family in Surat. He inherited the Gujarati business acumen from his father. He later went on to London School of Economics, where he pursued a degree in banking and finance. After returning to India in 1936, Parekh began his financial career with a leading stockbroking firm, Harkishan Das Lakshmidas. Simultaneously, he also worked as a lecturer in economics at St. Xavier's College in Mumbai for about 3 years. His first break, that is what I mentioned by breaking the barrier, break came in 1956 when he was 46 years old, when he joined ICICI Bank as a deputy general manager, and he became the chairman and managing director in 1972 of ICICI. At that time, it was not ICICI Bank, it was ICICI. He retired in 1976 and served as a chairman of ICICI board till 1978. You know what he did in 1977? Once he quit full-time employment in ICICI, by the time he had realized that there is a huge potential for housing loans, which are generally one of the products of any bank. So he wanted to have a separate financial institution installed, incorporated for giving housing finance to middle class people. Now that was a very path-breaking concept, and Dr. Manmohan Singh, who was the finance secretary at that point of time, he was very skeptical whether this concept will succeed. Now, Hasmukh Bhai was very confident of breaking the barrier, and he started this in 1977. HDFC, it is Housing Development Finance Corporation at that point of time, and at the age of 65, he started this, and this was soon became one of the largest housing finance institutions in India, and which now has become a full-fledged banking institution, HDFC Bank. And now HDFC Bank has become so big that they have absorbed, amalgamated its parent company, and it is a banking conglomerate now. So this is simply because he broke the barrier twice. Once he changed his career to become an employee of ICICI Bank, and from there he started his own housing finance institution, which is a unique kind of institution at that point of time. Now coming to Kiran Mazumdar, she was born in 1953 in Bangalore in Karnataka to a Gujarati parents. Her father, Rasendra Mazumdar, was a head brewmaster in United Breweries. So she was, he was born and brought up in a brewery related atmosphere. Now, being a brewmaster, he wanted his daughter, that is Kiran, to become a famous brewmaster of all times, and he encouraged her to study in the university, in Melbourne University in Australia, on malting and brewing. In 1974, she was the only woman enrolled in brewing course and topped her class, because in those days women never wanted to take up the career in brewing. She earned the degree as a master of brewer in 1975. After a brief period as a trainee in Biocon Biochemicals Limited, Cork of Ireland, she was working as a trainee, and that company deputed her to India to start a subsidiary in India. That was again breaking the barrier for Kiran Mazumdar. She was not recognized by the society, and she was finding it extremely difficult to get employees. Nobody would join her because she was a woman entrepreneur, and also this was a new area of work which she had started with her own money, because at that time foreign money was not allowed to be invested in India. With her own money, which was about 70% of the contribution of the company, she started the subsidiary in India, Biocon Chemicals India, and she faced incredible challenges because the youth, the gender, and the untested business model. She was unable to secure funding, but at a later stage, she was able to get some funding, and that from there onwards, there was no looking back. And now you know where is Biocon India. Now, another story of breaking the barrier is Kotak. Uday Suresh Kotak was he was an upper middle class Gujarati Hindu family household with about 60 people sharing a common kitchen under one roof. He started his career as a he did his MBA and started refused multinational offers and started his career with incorporating a company called Kotak Capital Management, which later became Kotak Mahindra Bank. And the company was initially into bill discounting, and after a few years of business, RBI came down heavily on this industry, and bill discounting and rediscounting were subject to severe restrictions by RBI. At that point of time, he branched off into vehicle financing, and he made his company into a finance company. So this is again breaking the barrier. So SMEs have to adopt. Now you know where is Kotak Mahindra Bank. So breaking the barrier is very important for SMEs, and they have to learn to break the barrier and to become sustainable. The action points for sustainability in MSME. One is an introduction to sustainability, explanations on why sustainability makes business sense, and testimonials given from early adopters of sustainability, and undertaking an understanding of the challenges and opportunities that SMEs can expect and prepare them to adopt that sustainability, actionable steps in the form of tools and best practices. All these things need to be provided to SMEs to encourage them to adopt sustainability measures. From a financial perspective, CDB in India has got a lot of schemes for sustainable businesses promoted by SMEs, and at the OECD level, global initiatives are also being undertaken. The future trends in sustainability management. This is a small video. I would like to share that. This is specifically promoted by our Prime Minister.
Friends, the way ahead is all about innovation and openness. At every level, let us encourage innovators focusing on the sustainable development. Technology can be a great supporter to achieve this. When tradition and technology meet, the vision of life will be taken further. I especially urge those in the academic world, researchers, and our dynamic startups to think about this. Their youthful energy is exactly what the world needs at this crucial time. We should also be open to sharing our best practices with others and learning from the successful practices of others.
You could have heard the Prime Minister advocating technology being adopted in a big way for attaining high levels of sustainability. The way forward will be renewable energy adoption, eco-friendly packaging, water management initiatives, circular economy practices where the economy itself will function on recycling and eco-friendly measures and things like that, biodiversity conservation, techno-driven solutions. These are the way forward. And the roadmap to sustainability, the government has launched a lot of schemes. In 2014, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan to National Mission for Sustainable Agriculture, Namami Gange. And in 2015, Ujjwala, that is affordable LEDs for all, FAME, faster adoption of manufacturing of electric vehicles, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, Atal Mission for Rejuvenation and Urban Transportation, National Electric Mobility Mission and Smart Cities Mission, Pradhan Mantri Ujjwal Yojana in 2016, Pradhan Mantri Kisan Urja Suraksha Evam Uttam Mahabhiyan, again in 2018-2019, National Clean Air Program and Jal Jeevan Mission. So these are almost every year the government comes out with new schemes for sustainability measures, and there are huge subsidies and other financial incentives available under these schemes for SMEs. Sovereign green bonds have been issued in 2020-23. It was 16,000 crore, and in 23-24 it has gone up to 20,000 crore. This is a fund which will be supporting sustainable industries, sustainable businesses by way of funding. So this is all about. Thank you very much for your time, and I would be glad to take any questions in this regard.
Thank you so much, sir. There is one question like, what are the areas which the new government should concentrate for the MSME development?
MSME development.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, basically supply chain, and so that's the most important thing. Supply chain, because when you buy raw materials, the raw material supplier has to be environment friendly, and he should be compliant with all ESG requirements. And then adoption of internal controls, being friendly to the society, be answerable to the all the stakeholders by giving products which are made out of eco-friendly materials and that contribute to sustainability.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Next question is, can you please explain the potential areas for cost accountants in the MSMEs?
Yeah, I had specifically mentioned there are a lot of areas, especially the compliance, governance and risk areas are there where the cost accountants can contribute into in a big way. The other areas are like costing analysis, implementation of KPIs. We had actually gone through those slides. Implementation of KPIs that require compliant measures with specific reference to sustainability, ESG, environment friendly protections, and the cost involved in that. As I told you, there are huge cost aspects where while you implement these, any compliance comes with a cost. So these are all basically treated as compliance issues, and there is a cost attached to it. So you need to strike a balance between your requirement, the social sustainability requirements, your internal capacity to adopt those measures, and the cost factor. So this is a huge area where the cost accountants can play a massive role.
Okay, sir. Sir, another question. Considering the current gaps, can you please suggest measures to make MSMEs more sustainable?
Of course, as I told you, MSMEs have got a lot of problems. First of all, many of them are on a hand-to-mouth existence. So if you go and ask them to implement all these things one fine morning, they'll find it extremely difficult. That's why there is a roadmap which we need to prepare, give them incentives, and also enable them, encourage them, and tell them that your future generations will be able to enjoy the benefits of what we are enjoying today, only if they adopt the sustainable practices. Now, once you adopt sustainable practices, the cost actually goes up. Okay, once the cost goes up, your products will also become less competitive in the market because you may not be able to sell these products at the same price. So there is a huge cost factor implication where the cost accountants can again play a vital role, and to reduce costs, yet comply with all the ESG norms, and then yet be competitive. So this is a huge challenge which the MSMEs have to undertake. There could be maybe as I told you, there are a host of Government of India schemes which are available, which provide subsidies and all. We need to educate the MSMEs to go ahead and avail the maximum subsidies given by the Government of India, and also encourage them to adopt sustainable measures. It's a huge amount of education programs, webinars, and the incentives also. They also need to be educated on the incentives. So all these things put together as a package will make the SMEs adopt in due course of time the concept of ESG.
Sir, is there any conflict of interest between SME listing and social stock exchange?
No, social stock exchange is basically it's a donation. It's a CSR donation which is given through an exchange mechanism. It is neither a capital nor a loan. So there is no concept of conflict. Absolutely no conflict. And SME listing is basically the securities are being listed. Either their debt or equity will be listed, mostly equities. And this is a method of capital raising, and their status increases, their visibility increases, they get listed, their shares traded in the public, and all those are the benefits.
Last question, sir. In spite of stable regulations for MSMEs, why still the sector is having a concentric development?
Could you repeat? I didn't get.
In spite of the stable regulations for the MSMEs, why still the sector is having a concentric development?
What do you mean by concentric development?
Means, sir, it's somewhere it's more like 14% or 17% in Maharashtra and 3% in some other state. So why it's like that, sir?
Okay. See, there are a lot of things connected with that, especially the policies of the central of the respective state government. It should be friendly to and conducive to the business in that particular state. There should be a lot of entrepreneurs coming up in traditionally Maharashtra. If you look at Maharashtra, Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, and UP is now picking up. UP was never an industrial hub. Maybe in the last 10 years, it has picked up as an industrial hub. So there is a change of mindset from a traditional employment perspective to a industry perspective where entrepreneurship is developed. So that is a change in mind. No institution, no private sector or no government sector can provide employment for the entire population. So they have to find their own businesses which will generate income for themselves and their families. So there has to be a paradigm shift in the mindset of generating money, generating wealth through industry, through business, and not through employment only. And this, once you start generating income through business, it provides employment to so many other people, and so many families live on this employment. So this concept needs to be driven, and that is prevalent in these states where it is being showing high percentage of MSMEs. So apart from that, the availability of raw material, availability of labor, transportation facilities, all those things also contribute to the cost factor, and MSMEs get concentrated in those states which give you all these facilities.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for giving us your time and for such a impeccable presentation, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. I wish you wish all the participants and the institute all the very best in future. Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, sir. Here's a small announcement for our members and everybody who is participating, that the SSB of the institute is pleased to launch a certificate course on ESG. This 3 months duration online course will be having veteran experts on ESG and sustainability as faculty. The admission is on the first come first serve basis. So please don't wait. Just rush to enroll to grab the seats in the first batch. With this, we come to the end of the show. I would like to thank our special guest for his address, and I would like to thank our President, Institute of Cost Accountants of India, CMA Ashwinji Talwadi, sir. I would like to thank the CMA BB Nayak, sir, Vice President, Institute of Cost Accountants of India. I would like to thank CMA Dr. Ashish Thatte, Chairman, SSP, and Central Council member, and all the members of the Sustainability Standard Board for their continuous support and motivation. I would also like to thank CMA Dibyendu Roy, the Secretary of Sustainability Standard Board, for his support. Thank you very much and have a nice weekend. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Shall I log off?
Yes, thank you, sir.